Dragon Ball is one of the biggest franchises in the world. It's one of those brands that if you haven't seen it or experienced something from it, you've definitely heard of it. For me, I've been consuming Dragon Ball content basically since I was born. I remember watching the new Kai episodes every Thursday night on Nick with my brother. I can specifically remember the last episode they watched weekly together. It was the one where Android 17 and 18 were released. We were hyped because the intro showed them and we were theorizing who they were. This series has had an impact on my life that I don't even know how to properly put into words. Two of the best moments of my life are connected to Dragon Ball. Watching the Tournament of Power every Saturday with my best friends, specifically with the final few episodes, and a different story that I'll be sharing later in the video. Ever since I decided to start making YouTube videos, I've wanted to make a Dragon Ball video due to its impact, but I could never think of something that felt right. That is, until it hit me. Man, this movie aged like butter. I don't really know the internet's outlook on these movies because I've only ever talked Dragon Ball with my friends, but this movie just didn't hit that hard for me this time. Let's do a quick recap of what happened. Goku has to do an interview for Gohan's schooling, but King Kai tells him to find and fight a guy. While this is happening, the Z Fighters are celebrating a wedding. When Broly and Paragus show up and tell Vegeta he's a king, they all go to New Vegeta, and Goku instant transmissions there too. We find out Vegeta's dad banished the two guys because Broly was stronger than Vegeta. Broly then hates Goku because he cries a lot. Broly gets buff and fights everyone and beats everyone up until Goku decides he doesn't want to get beat up anymore and gives Broly a big ol' punch. I guarantee this probably was really amazing at the time. A lot of the fights hold up today, and Broly himself is such an incredible idea. Two new Saiyans that somehow survived the destruction of Planet Vegeta. Hell freaking yeah, that's awesome. Oh wait, one of them is the legendary Super Saiyan? I don't even know what that freaking means, but it sounds so awesome. I'm so fucking down. That's kind of where the cool stuff stops. Before I say everything I didn't like about the movie, here's exactly what I liked. I really liked that the way that they showed Goku traveling with instant transmission at the beginning of the movie. It was a pretty neat animation. Goku as a whole, I feel like, carried the first half of the movie. Drip-Ku is awesome, and I really liked him doing detective work and just full-on giving up the second Paragus offers him food. I thought Master Roshi was actually kind of funny, and I really enjoyed Krillin singing at the beginning because he shares the same voice actor as Luffy, and it reminded me of the Moron song. Playing Headshot at the beginning made me unreasonably happy and just full of nostalgia. And finally, I really love the style of anime from this time. I really wish there was a show that had this style of art, but with the fluidity of today's animation. Okay, time to be mean. This movie is fully outclassed, not once, but two whole times. Obviously, I'm referring to the canon Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, which I'll talk about later, but also the Dragon Ball Abridged version of this movie. If you don't know what Dragon Ball Abridged is, it's a group of fans that re-edited and re-voiced Dragon Ball Z up to the point of the Cell Saga, and it's honestly hilarious. At some points, it's better than original Dragon Ball. The Broly movie being one of these points, I honestly think their version of the movie is the best thing they made. It's all of the good fights, but with way better jokes. I literally laugh every single time. That shit is so funny.
You must be...
My name is Trunks.
Hello, Princess Trunks.
I'm not a... As my first decree, you shall only call her Princess Trunks!
All hail, Princess Trunks!
Who's this scrawny puke?
I'm a foot and a half taller than you, but whatever.
But for the sake of the Saiyan race, he has my blessings to bed Princess Trunks. Excuse you?
Princess Trunks!
Please, no.
You lied to me.
I did no such thing!
You dirty boy.
Goku, get me off this planet right now! I'm serious! Instant transmission!
Broly's wife?
Well, technically, I was the one who killed Frieza.
That's hot.
No, you mouth breather! You have been ignoring your king!
What is a king to a god?
And what is a god to a non-believer?
Do you believe now?
The point is, there's not really any reason to watch the original version of this movie. The story kind of sucks. It makes no sense for Broly to hate Goku. It blows my mind that that made it past the first draft of the script. The Shimotions are only there to pad runtime, and it's super lame. Also, whoever wrote this movie hates Vegeta. The guy was the biggest idiot for the first half of the movie and then was just too scared to fight for the rest of the movie. Even at the end of it, he refused to give Goku energy just because the movie wanted him to. Okay, one final thing before we head on to the next one. Piccolo only showed up just so he could heal the Z fighters halfway through, and he contributed literally nothing to the fight. He got knocked out just by flying into Broly in that one scene. The guy literally didn't even try to attack. All in all, it wasn't bad, but there were definitely better versions of it. 6 out of 10. I'm going to do the opposite of what I did with the last movie. I'm going to be mean first. This is because I think I might have liked this one more than the first one. I'm not actually 100% sure about my opinions on it because they're basically the same movie. Broly gets mad because Goku cried as a baby and then a bunch of people take turns fighting him. And then he gets beat in one hit and also Goku does some bullshit too. Even though what I just said is 100% true, here's a real recap. Broly survived the big punch and is frozen somehow on Earth. Goten and Trunks want to make a wish so they end up near Broly because, of course. The Videl is there too, and the three of them stop a ritual sacrifice. Goten cries, it wakes up Broly, and then a big fight starts. The three fight, then Gohan fights, and then a beam clash. The Goku baby thing is the biggest mistake these movies ever made. They fix it actually in the good one. But man, how did the plot point make it into 2 different scripts? I'm reiterating it this time because it went into 2 different movies. They really didn't have to bring it up again. Okay, now for the good stuff. The story absolutely sucks, all of the ass. But this is actually a good thing because in this movie's case, it drops the story immediately after starting. The movie is only 52 minutes long, so they probably had the beginning of the movie just to pad some runtime, and the plot lasts only about 10 minutes. The rest of the movie is just fighting Broly. This is good because I think the fighting was pretty good in this one. There was a small jump in animation from the last one to this one, and I appreciate all of the art behind it. Broly fighting in just Super Saiyan is really cool. His Super Saiyan is such a great design, and it makes sense that he would just toy with the kids and then go barbaric when he sees someone he actually knows. Speaking of Gohan, I quite enjoy his character in this movie. I really loved his fight and how he had to be creative to compete with this monster. And something I love about Dragon Ball is the stupid yet awesome beam struggles. It is just so Dragon Ball to end with the beam struggle, so I found that more endearing than a big punch. I love that the Dragon Balls were relevant in this movie. Sometimes I feel like the show forgets its name, especially in the earlier movies like Broly, the first Broly. This was the 3rd time I watched this movie, and I honestly enjoyed it quite a bit. It's a quick watch, and I think it's worth it for the most part. 6.5 out of 10. Alright, guys. Oh my god, hit the thing. Ah! Knock the mic off the thing! Alright, guys. I have an opinion that would get me killed if people actually watch my videos. I personally think this is the best old Broly movie. Alright, here's the recap, then I'll explain. The ritual lad from the last movie stole Broly's blood and then gave it to a small billionaire. Android 18 is mad at Hercule because she is owed money. Goten and Trunks are there too. The small billionaire, who is a baron, invited Hercule to a big fight. All of the 4 characters we know go there and fight a series of bio soldiers. Whoa, Broly is goopy now, and now he is free! Then there's a big fight, and then they beat him with a big beam. I'm gonna say all the bad things first, like I did with the last movie. I think the villains are lame. Making the antagonist someone who hates Hercule is such a bad idea. The guy's name is literally Baron Jaja Butta. In addition, making the main characters Trunks, Goten, 18, and Hercule was basically telling the audience to keep their expectations low. I don't know if this is controversial, but I don't think a Dragon Ball movie can be successful if Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, or another heavy hitter isn't the lead. To add to that, they only make it a Broly movie to try and get people interested in it. Sadly, it doesn't work because no one I know likes this movie or even has seen it. I have 2-ish more negative things to say before going into what I liked. I refuse to believe that this guy thought to reanimate Broly after the last movie. He was in a semi-ancient civilization. Not a chance he would think someone could do something with Broly's blood. To go off of that, I think it's funny that this movie is like a fusion dance of the 2 new Super movies. For starters, it's Broly, and secondly, it's some short guy who brought back an old Dragon Ball villain, and the main characters aren't Goku and Vegeta. And for my last problem-ish, I had the ish because I go back and forth on whether or not I actually dislike the design of the new character. I think it's horrible, but, like, in a good way. It's probably because I Stockholm syndrome myself into liking it by forcing Broly onto every Dokkan team for the last 8 years just for the meme of it. Speaking of, where's my Bio Broly Dokkan Fest? I know we got physical Goten and Trunks, but I'm looking for a full-on Bio guy. I'd put thousands in that card regardless of its quality. Alright, now to say what I like about the movie. It's actually pretty simple. I think the fights go hard. It's like only 40 minutes, so if you straight up skip the story bits, it's just like 20 minutes of Goten, Trunks, 18, and Krillin getting bodied and trying their best to even put a scratch on this monster creation. I especially like the moment where Broly just grabs Goten and uses him as a weapon. The way they beat him wasn't super cool, but the animations throughout the entire fight are surprisingly fluid. As someone that recently got into animating, I appreciate the polish this one got. It's mainly that the creators of this movie knew what it was about and didn't extend the plot just to make the movie longer. It had like 10 minutes of story and then completely dropped it and then right into the fight. I respect that. No drawn out dumbass plot. Alright, I'm done talking about the Goopy. It was a lot better than expected. A short, fun movie. 7 out of 10. This movie is not only my favorite anime movie, but one of my favorite movies of all time. It has a deeper connection to me than a lot of people in my life. I watched Dragon Ball Super Broly yearly, if not bi-yearly. Even before the first trailer came out, me and my friends were speculating on what the movie could possibly be about. The common theory at the time was that it was going to be the first Super Saiyan, Yamoshi. Little did we know it was way better than that. The badass non-canon Dragon Ball movie was now going to be canon, but with a better story and better animation. I bought 4 tickets months in advance. We were so excited for it to come out. Then the day finally came. We went over to my house after school. The movie was at 8, so we had tons of time to play Smash before we had to drive. We get to the theater, I scan all our tickets, we walk into the theater, and I bought the wrong tickets. Don't get me wrong, we were in Broly, but instead of buying the back row, I bought the very, very front row. We all called me an idiot, but we honestly really didn't care a whole lot because we were still watching Broly canon. Another funny thing to add was they only played kids' movie trailers at the beginning. The movie came out in very early 2019, so people hadn't realized that anime was for everyone yet, at least in the Western side of things. COVID was what changed things, I think, or maybe Avatar coming to Netflix, which I guess happened during COVID. Then I guess Jujutsu Kaisen came out, and that changed a lot of opinions on anime. What the fuck was I on about? Oh, right. I worked at a different movie theater at the time of this movie coming out. I was pretty close to the manager there, so I asked him why he didn't consider showing Broly at the theater, and he legitimately told me that he thought that no one would see it. I don't know if he was right, but I don't think it would be the same nowadays. Okay, recap time. Broly is very strong, so King Vegeta banishes him. Wait, this sounds familiar. However, this time we get more world building and story. We see a canon Bardock who gets the vibe that something is off. And then he Supermans Goku while Frieza kills all of the Saiyans. Paragus, Broly, and Vegeta were off planet, so they all survived, and many years later the events of Super occurred, and Goku and Vegeta are 2 very strong boys. Frieza is back and he sends out guys to try and gather some troops, and 2 lads stumble upon Broly and his father. Broly eats food for the first time and then falls in love. Frieza decides to stage a fight. Paragus and Broly hate Vegeta because of what the king did, so the fight starts instantly. Vegeta runs through his forms before Broly decides to get madder, and then Goku runs through his forms until Frieza cheats and kills Paragus. Broly gets even madder than that, and Goku and Vegeta decide to fight together, in more ways than one. Gogeta beats up the big boy and attempts to fucking kill him. Then it ends happily ever after. It took them 16 years, but they finally fucking did it. They finally made Broly hate Vegeta. Yes, 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 thank God. Oh, and Broly has a personality. It's so good. And Bardock is in it. I love Bardock. There's legitimately only one problem in my opinion, and it's the CG isn't my favorite. I don't like whenever they switch between the 2 styles. Just pick one. I really like the superhero style. I think it looks sick. It would have been weird if the fight randomly became 2D animated and then back to 3D if that happened in Superhero. Speaking of 2D animation, I personally believe that this is the best animation style in all anime. I want to meet the character designer and the art director for this movie because, chef kiss. It's exactly what I wanted. It is the late 90s to early 2000s style with the updated fluidity. Fuck, man, this is the reason I'm a weirdo today. I love the way the movie builds up hype. It has a strong opening by canonizing a lot of the things that fans have always wanted to see, while giving us a glimpse of what is to come, until the halfway point where all hell breaks loose. Not to mention the amazing sound design and score. Just take a listen. Such a fantastic film. 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching this far into the video. This one has been in the cooker for a while, and I'm so happy I finally got it out. If you enjoy, please subscribe and like. Alright, see ya. Also, fuck you, Tyler. I'm a film student. Of course I'm going to script my videos. You come and try making videos while attending college and make other things and doing other stuff. It's not fucking easy. Screw you.